Hey there! So the other day I was in need of some texture paste and didn't want to buy any, didn't want to go out to the stores shopping around, so I went online looking for a texture paste recipe and found one that I love, and I want to share it with you. So what you're gonna need is just three things: some baking soda, some Mod Podge or collage, just a white glue, and some white paint. And it's gonna be a half a cup of baking soda, 3 tablespoons of white glue, and 2 tablespoons of white paint. And you can see this is how I cook too. I just like dump it all in and pray it all comes out tasting yummy and looking good. So anyway, so then you're just gonna take and you're just gonna mix it up. And I'm using a paintbrush because this is just an old plastic thing, and it's got corners, it's got little grooves and dips down in here, so this paintbrush makes it easy for me to get down in there and smush it all together. So now, as you can see, look at this nice consistency. I use this like I would for my gesso, and it leaves a great texture and it dries nice and hard. So it looks like looks really good. It looks like frosting. So okay, it's all nice and whipped up. So let me clean this up and then I'll be right back and I'll show you how smooth and nice it goes on. So alright, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I have just a piece of art that I'm going over, like a do-over, because I didn't like how that one turned out. So I just have my paste and an old credit card, and I'm using this as I would like gesso. And I like the consistency of this because it is kind of, it's not as thick as frosting. But it is just, I just love it. And you can add texture on the top of it. You see how you can get thick, you can go thin. And I like when it's dry, I don't know, it's really nice and hard, doesn't flake off or anything. It's really, really nice. Alright. Alright, let me add just a little bit more over this, and then I'm going to dry it up, and then I'll be right back and we can add a little more texture. Alright, be right back. So I have my stencils, just a couple, just to give you an idea on how this is going to go. So let me just clean this off. Alright. I'm just going to get a good bit on there. And you're just going to apply it like you would any other paste. I don't know if you can see the depth of that, because I like a nice thick paste. I don't like anything that's runny. I like a nice thick paste. So it gives it all that nice texture when you run your hand across it. Alright. So I got a little bit more on here, so let's add this down in here. That's so nice. Alright, let me just take and just add some extra up in here and just give it some of my own layer and thickness. Come over in here and add some. Now this is going to take it a little bit to dry. Not long though. You'll have to experiment and play with it and see what you like from it. And you can make it a little bit thinner, I have found, by adding just a little bit more glue. I'm just stirring that up. And then it makes it a little bit thinner. If you like yours to be not as thick. But over time it does get a little bit thicker. I'll show you some that I already have made up. See, and this is much more like cake frosting. But it's okay. I just stir it up and I like it like that. Oops. I'll just add you to that. All this yummy texture. So if you do let it, over time it does dry out, but if you like it to be a little bit thinner when you first start out, then yeah, adding a little bit more glue to it will help loosen that consistency up for you. So, alright, I'm going to let this dry, and when I get back, I'm going to paint over it, and I can show you how nice it is. So, I'll be right back. This yummy texture. And as you can see, it's covering up all the color that was underneath. Alright. And I don't mind if some of that underneath color shows through, because it's nice, so I don't mind. Okay, I got all the paint added where I want it, and now I'm just going to dry it up, and I'll be right back. Okay, all dry, looking all good, and now I'm going to add some Mod Podge over the top of this, and then I'm going to put a stain over it just so I can show you the depth and the texture a little better within this. And I like to let me back up. Before I stain anything on my art, I like to add some Mod Podge over the top of it, because for me, I have found that when I add a stain over the top, this is quite porous, so I don't always want the color to be drastically changed to whatever glaze I put over the top of it, or stain, if that makes sense. Because sometimes I have found that if I don't do this first, well, then it will turn everything brown and I'm not able to wipe it away nicely. So I'm going to add this Mod Podge, which I've added quite a bit of Mod Podge. You don't quite need this much, but getting a little glue happy over here. Just dab some of that away. I need just a thin enough layer to where it's going to seal in some of the roughness Okay. Let me dry her up and I will be right back. Okay, now for my glazing, my staining, my glazing, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to use Glazing Medium by Deco Art. And I just put in like a teaspoonful, and then I get my burnt umber, because I like the color of the burnt umber, and I add probably half a teaspoon of that. And then I give it a good stir. Okay. Then I get my brush, and then I just brush it on. And sometimes you may need to add a dab more of glazing medium if you find that the paint is actually painting your surface. And so you don't really want it to paint, you just want it to get in your grooves. So then I like to just do a section at a time and then just wipe it away. And then if I want a little bit of the cream to show through, then I dab, and then I can wipe the top of that, and then it just takes the tops of that off. And I hope that you can see that. Looks like this light I have is making that look purple on my end. Hopefully it doesn't look purple. Anyway, you can get the gist of it. But can you see how neat that glazing medium gets in there? And so that's why I add the Mod Podge over the top of it. So then, or if I didn't want any of it, I can just spritz it on there and then just wipe it all away. But then you gotta start over, so. And I use this brush because it gets down in those grooves. And just makes it so nice. Let me turn out this light and see if it makes it look less purpley. No, that's terrible. Sorry, I'm just playing around here with the lights to make it look better for you. Let me just spritz that up a little bit. Get the top. Isn't this looking good? I do love some texture. You get it all down in those grooves. Okay. I'm just going to wipe it away. And again, if you don't want all that brown, you just spritz, smush it in a little bit, and then just wipe it. And then it just takes that top layer off and some of around the surrounding area. But yeah, my paste is holding up through all that scrubbing I'm doing. I mean, I just love this paste recipe. It's my favorite. So, but yeah, can you see all that? Isn't that nice? All right, my friends. I think I'm all done. I just wanted to share this with you and my new texture paste recipe that I found online. It's not my original recipe, but you know, found it online, wanted to share it with you. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you try this out, send me some pictures. Love to see it. Have a great day. Bye!